Hey, what's going on, guys? How's it going? I think everything's going all good. Yes, you can all see here. Everything's good. Let's go to this one. What's up? Chocolate Falcon, what's up, man? How are you? Gojulas, indeed. And so one thing you guys will notice here, a couple things, is that I do have all the parts already. I did some panel lining on them just because I'm not going to be painting this kit. Not in full, but I am going to be painting the blue parts. I actually repainted to orange, actually. So rather than being like gray and blue, it's going to be gray and orange. So I did already repaint those blue parts. It's pretty cool, huh? All right, so that's what we got on for today. And as you can tell from the title, also this is part 1. And I think it's going to be 3 parts in total. Today's part 1, we're going to be building the head and the torso, the body, and like the base of the tail. And part 2 will be the rest of the tail and the legs. Part 3 will be, and the backpack. Part 3 will be the arms and the cannons, as not included with this set, but I did grab the cannon set to build along with this as well, because I thought, hey, if we're going through all that trouble, we might as well build the cannon set too and put that on there. So yeah, it's going to be a big kit, and so I knew that I'm definitely not going to want to paint the whole thing. So just repainting the blue parts to orange, I think will make it look pretty nice. It'll be panel lined up. We'll throw on some decals on it later, some top coat. And that's the one thing that I'm concerned about as we're getting into the construction. I'll see exactly how I want to manage this, the clear parts, because I am going to want to matte coat the thing once everything's all done. But I need to take the clear parts into account. So some of them I might put in, and then I'll just mask them when I go to spray the top coat. Either that, or I'll just leave them out for the time being. We'll see. There's not a ton of clear parts. There's a few though, here and there. I think probably just masking them will be the easier way to go rather than leaving them out. But let's get into the Gojulas. So a couple things first, right off the bat too. First of all, a big thank you to Kotobukiya for sending this to me to build and share with you guys. So shout out to Kotobukiya. In particular, their US office here. This wasn't sent from Japan, but sent from the US Kotobukiya office. So thank you to them, as always, for their very gracious support. And other thing that I want to say as we're getting started is some greetings to some of you guys. So let's see. William's here. What's going on, Will? Everyone have fun with this build. I'm off to work. I plan to catch this one later. All right, Will, no problem. Not sure if you're still here or already gone, but have a good day at work. Jimyoung is here. Is that Jimyoung as in Jimmy Jimyoung? I'm not sure. But hello, if it is you, Jimmy, or if it's just a different person also named Jimyoung, hello. All right, I think that's it. There's a lot of little parts here, like around on the face of the Gojulas. And who else is here? George is here. My question before I'm going to bed is special coating from Gundam Base are worth the money? George, if you're still here, to answer your question about the special coating from Gundam Base, for me, the like special coating and clear color versions and stuff are nice as like collector's items. I don't really necessarily collect Gunpla for myself. Usually I'm getting them like in order to build and with, ultimately the intention to actually paint them at some point. So that's why usually those aren't really too interesting for me. But I mean, if you're like a particular fan of a particular Gundam and you just want to have a special version of it as like a collector's item, then yeah, they're cool, definitely. MJ, a shout out from Davao City, Philippines. Hello. Yeah, there's a lot of small parts. Not on most of the kit. I mean, like, yeah, every section kind of has a fair amount of small parts. It's just there's a lot in particular, like here on the head, because you have all like these little bits, as you'll see here in just a minute. Zoids build got the gun sniper to do this month personally. Actually, aside from this one, I Let me just ask you guys. I wasn't really planning on doing a live build, but I do also have the Firefox here, which I'm waiting until I'm done with the Gojulas because I don't want to be building two Zoids kits at the same time. But if you guys would also like to see a live build of the Firefox kit, let me know, and I can do that for sure. All right. Is it true that special coating tends to make the plastic more fragile? In my experience, I would say sometimes yes. It depends. I've had some where, yeah, the special coating basically makes it plastic very similar feeling to like a clear plastic, which is, you know, like can like feel more fragile, more brittle. It tends to like crack and splinter more when you're like removing the nubs, so you have to be a little bit more careful with it. Sometimes not. It just kind of depends. Usually, like if it's metallic injected, usually it's pretty much the same consistency as standard plastic. Goose says he wants to see the Firefox. Okay. How long does it take to stripping lacquer paint with 99% isopropyl alcohol? Do I need to leave it soak overnight? I would just leave it overnight. Yeah, that should be able to take care of most everything on there. I think some people who use it, I rarely end up needing to use that. Some people who use it more might tell you that you only need to leave it in for an hour or two or something, but it's not going to hurt the parts. As far as I know, it's not going to hurt the parts to just leave it in overnight, so you might as well do that. Hi from Dubai. Hello in Dubai. Let's see. If there's a Firefox kit, then will there be a Google Chrome and a Bing kit too? I don't know. Maybe, and what's the other one? Anyway, I can't think of it. Anyway, the clear versions are just about 50% more expensive. I mean, the nice thing with like the clear color versions and the alternate color versions, the MSRP on them is the same because all they're doing is just using a different color of plastic essentially. So I mean, if you can actually get it at the Gundam base, usually like the MSRP there, the price at the Gundam base for like the standard version of the kit and the metallic version of the kit, for example, the clear color version, the price should be the same. But if it's a coated kit, like it's a special coating, then yeah, the price is more because of the coating process. So yeah, and in that case, usually it's like double the price of whatever the original price was. It's a pretty good rule of thumb for that. Okay, let's get to the build here. We've got a lot to build. So I think this is right. We have our chair piece. Oh, okay, there it is. All right. Chair piece in the cockpit here first. So yeah, like I said, I did do the panel lining on this ahead of time just with panel line marker, but I think for the rest of the parts, as in like for part 2 and 3 of the live stream, which would be the rest of the kit other than what we're building today, probably going to use like the Tamiya accent color, just because it's just kind of faster. It did take a long time to go through and like panel line everything with the markers, which usually you would think is like the faster way, but I don't know. It was a little bit tedious. Oh, okay, let's see. What part is that? This one right here. Okay. That there, and this one here. So anyway, in other news, other announcements, the next contest I will announce for you guys. I'll try to have that video out for you guys tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then Thursday for the 4th of July, we'll announce the next contest. So I think that's probably a safer bet. Look forward to the new contest announcement on Thursday. The judges are set, the prizes are set. I just need to make the announcement video. So look forward to that. Let's see, this is not that. It's kind of hard to see. One thing that does tend to be a little bit tricky sometimes is that the instructions, because there's so many parts and such like a big kit, they have to pack a lot of information onto a single page, and it can be a little bit hard to see sometimes. I think for this part, let's see, it's for the eyes, and I want to like really be able to see that. So actually, Give me just a second. I think I'm gonna put some Gundam marker on this. Find my silver Gundam marker here on the back side of these eye parts, just to make sure that they're nice and visible. Now, yep, okay. Let's see. Better shake it just in case. YouTube no longer sends me notifications when you go live. What's the deal, Chris? Are you sure that you're still subscribed? If YouTube, sometimes does that thing where it like automatically unsubscribes you sometimes from channels. So maybe double check that you're still subscribed and like with the bell rung, I guess. Hope you do some discussion video on problem with our MG or is RE100 line dead? Like that again. It's fun to listen to discussion video. Yeah, George, I've been thinking about that lately, that I haven't done that type of video for a little while. I just haven't really had any ideas that I was like really excited about doing. But if you have any suggestions or anything for that type of video, by all means, let me know, and I will definitely take that into consideration. I think there was one other. I did make a couple of videos. Let's see if I can do this here on the fly without needing any other tools. I think this would be helpful though. There was another video. I did do a couple of videos where it was like the top 5 or top 10 or whatever kits that I would recommend from like IBO or whatever, for example. And there was another series. I think I was going to do one similar to that, but about the HG to Origin series. So that I do plan on doing. I don't have it planned out or anything yet. I will still have to do that. But there we go. So this is not like perfect by any means, but it'll definitely make the eyes, these clear parts, more visible than what they would have been otherwise. So just gonna need to give these a couple minutes to dry, though, is the thing. It's okay. While we're waiting for that, let me see if there's a different part that I can build for the time being. There is. Okay, good. So I'm gonna leave these over here for a moment to dry. And try not to bump them or anything while they're sitting there. I'll do my best. Let's see. This one needs a little bit more paint on it though, actually. Hang on. How HG evolution in recent years. Let's see. Yeah. There we go. It's better. Actually. Wait a minute. Okay. Maybe a early high grade syndrome. Let's see. YouTube sometimes do that. Yeah. How HG evolution in recent years, maybe HG since IBO or Witch Mercury kind of get a lot, and Seed Freedom is like a jump in quality. I mean, it's something that I've kind of vaguely talked about a number of times over the years. Just a second. This one is here. Got a number of these like very large parts I've put over here separately. So they didn't fit in the box. Well, they probably will now. So I'm going to go ahead and toss these in here. There's one part in particular. No, not that. Hang on. What is that? Oh, those are separate. There they are. Oh. Okay. All right. I had these set off to the side here as well. Yeah, it's something that I've talked about a bunch of times, like how HG's basically had like a quite noticeable jump increase in quality, going from let's see, what would it be? Basically, like from seed to age. Hey, what's going on, Joel? Going from like the HG Seed series to the HG Age series, I think is usually kind of where that transition is most notable. Because I think what would have been in between there? Double O would have been in between there, I guess. Double O is also pretty good. So Double O is like kind of a good like transition series kind of between the two, where the kits are mostly like pretty good, but then when you get to like the HG Age kits, they're really, really good. And then everything after that's been like pretty much really high quality. So, all right. What up? Finally able to catch a live stream, yeah? Sometimes these middle of the day streams work out for some people. I know it's not like the most ideal time, but if it works, it works. Anybody who can be here, I'm just glad they're here. So I know like I used to do most of my streaming, at least like on like US time, it was like in the evening, which is good. I know that's when a lot of people usually are able to watch, but I'm just not able to do that anymore now that I'm in the same time zone, at least as everybody here on the East Coast. Speaking of which, don't we have I haven't checked the weather for the past couple of days. Don't we have a storm kind of headed this way? Possibly, maybe. These are the parts here. So like a lot of those little parts I was mentioning about are gonna go like here on like the sides of the face here, the Gojulas. There's a ton of detail painting that you could do on this because there's so much detail on it. I did some panel lining and that's about the extent of what I'm gonna be doing on this. I'm not gonna go in and like actually paint in a bunch of detail. I may later on, kind of like just before doing the final top coat on it, I may go in and like hand paint a couple details here and there. But like I said, this is not something that I want to be bogged down with for like months and months. And it definitely could be if you wanted to really put a bunch of time into it, but I want to do a cool build. All right, so here's another thing too. We have for the canopy on the top, you have like a clear and then like kind of a like brown clear. I'm gonna go for the brown clear, but this part I know I'm definitely gonna have to take off again later. So I'm gonna make sure that, let's see, hang on. Gonna make sure that this part is one that will be easy enough to take off again later. Because if not, I may leave it off for the moment. But let's see. I feel like these parts should have gone in behind the eyes there, but they didn't. Or I missed something and I really better be sure, because let's see. No? Where the hell do these parts go? I need to make sure that I'm not missing anything. So that would be a real shame. But first, real quick, let me put these parts on here. More parts that I can put on and get out of the way, then less things to worry about. Now there's a couple of these I can put on here. Kind of disappointed, but Bandai's Bandai, I guess. Well, let's see. The new Shinjustein only having 4 new runners that fix the sleeves and the shield emblem. I mean, I'm honestly surprised that it's that many. I would have expected less than 4 new runners. So, to be honest, I'm perfectly fine with that. Like, I'm looking forward to the new Stein just because it's such a great kit. So, I mean, like, oh no, I have to build an awesome kit again. Like, it's not that big. Don't threaten me with a good time, right? But I mean, I understand people who are not super excited about it. Where the hell is this part? Sorry to give you the top of my head cam there for a minute, but there's a piece. Oh, it is a clear part. Okay. It's this one? Yeah, okay. All right. Oh, yeah. It's a clear part on top of a clear part. Right. And underneath there will be what? G2. G is where. Really hope too that I'm not missing any parts, because if I am, I left all the runners and everything is at home. So if I'm missing any parts, I can't finish it here at the moment. And so there's this part. What the fuck? Where's this G7? Oh, wait a minute. Okay. I should also remember that I repainted some of the parts. So yeah, some of them are over here in this box of parts that are repainted. So okay. Which is the case with this one. And this one too, let's see. Yeah, I think I'm going to want to paint this one too real quick. So let's see. These parts that are getting some clear, that are getting some Gundam marker inside. Going to be a little bit tricky. What's up, Patrick? Gonna have to watch this later. Night shift. But anyway, yeah, check it out later, Patrick. I mentioned earlier, probably before you got into the stream, Patrick, but I will be announcing the next contest on Thursday, on the 4th. I'll try to have that announcement video out, so just a heads up on that. Problem is, inside this part, the Gundam marker doesn't quite reach, and I could get out a paintbrush, and that would make it a lot easier. I'm trying to see if I can't just do without, though. So I think that's going to work okay. I'll give that a second to dry and put a little bit more paint in there. Got the Cannon Tortoise, and I'm going to start this here. The Cannon Tortoise is cool, Joel. I've built and reviewed that kit, and I've told the story of what I wanted to do with that kit before. But in case you missed it, my idea and kind of the whole reason why I got that kit was actually an idea that I had, which was inspired by a scene in I think it was Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Don't know if you remember that one, but there was a scene where they're on the planet, and what's the blue girl's name? Anyway, she's like trying to attack, and now I can't remember any of the characters' names. The blue and the green girl, the two sisters anyway. She like crashes the ship into the planet Nebula. Thank you. Nebula is the blue one, and the green one's starts with a Z. Zendaya, I want to say. Yeah, but anyway. Gamora, there it is. Thank you. I had it right there. Gamora picks up like the cannon, like from the crashed ship, and she's like shooting Nebula with like this big holding this massive cannon over her arm, over her shoulder. And I wanted to make like something like that with that Cannon Tortoise kit, where like the Cannon Tortoise is like destroyed, and I have like some, I don't know what it's going to be, like some Megami device or frame arm scroll kit or something like that. Basically like taking the cannon off of the top of the Cannon Tortoise and like holding over the shoulder like that, with it where it's still got like the cables and wires and stuff like attached down to the Cannon Tortoise. So that's something like just kind of a little vignette I wanted to make with the Cannon Tortoise. Like I have it pictured in my mind, I just have to actually make it, one of those things. So here's the top of the head with the orange part. So as I was saying at the start of the stream, in case you guys missed it, all the blue parts I'm repainting to orange. So that's going to be our color. Instead of this being blue and gray, it'll be orange and gray. So I think these other parts here for the eyes are also dry enough. I can go ahead and put these on here. And yeah, the canopy part, well, let's see. It should be easy enough to take out. It's either take out or mask later on when I spray the top coat on this. Let's see. Oh, just kind of realized how serendipitous, Joel, that I'm wearing one of the shirts I bought. Not, I guess it's from you, but anyway, from Holy Mountain. But and here you are on the stream. I know you're not with them anymore, but frame arms would be a good fit. Yeah, I think probably like size-wise and just kind of the shapes and the details and everything. I think frame arms girl is probably going to be the way to go for that. But yep. That is a project for a future day. So there's our little pilot figure in there. Should be. It's kind of fitting, kind of crooked in there. See if I can't get it to be straight. If I can. And there like that. And then this part over the top like this. There you go. Pretty cool looking, I gotta say, and you can kind of get a sense of just how big this is going to be. Let me zoom in a little bit here for you. Focus that up a little bit so you can see in here the top of the head. Our pilot figures in there like that. Pretty cool. Let's turn the page. We're officially on page 2. Well, it's actually page 11, but page 2 of construction. And we need polycaps, which is the reason why this live build is happening today and didn't happen on last Friday. I was actually planning to build this last Friday, but I accidentally left the polycaps at home, so I couldn't. Yeah. So this is something that I've been working on just kind of at home in between other stuff. But it kind of took a while to get everything ready for this first part. Hopefully for the second and third part, just because now I kind of have a good idea of kind of the flow of how I want to work on this. Like I was saying earlier, before I was using like the Gundam markers for doing the panel lining, which for how I was doing it was just kind of slower than if I would just do it just with the Tamiya accent color. So like that's what I'm going to use. That'll make it a little bit faster. The blue parts to repaint to orange doesn't take very long. I mean, I used some SMS surfacer though, which was my first time using SMS surfacer. And anyway, there's like kinks that I need to work out. It's a little bit different from using just kind of the standard Mr. Hobby surfacer that I'm using. So it didn't come out perfectly, and it's not like the fault of the surfacer. It's just because I wasn't kind of used to it. So I think I am going to use it again for the rest of this kit, just so that everything's all consistent, because I don't want to have like some orange parts looking a little bit different because the surfacer is different on some parts. But it was a little bit darker than I expected, and also a little bit grainier. I think it would have been a good idea to use some leveling thinner mixed in there. It's pre-thinned like all like SMS paints are. But I think it would have been a good idea to add in a little bit of leveling thinner. So there's a little heads up to any of you guys if you're planning on using any of that. Here's one of our polycap runners here, by the way, which is gigantic. We've got 2 of these plus, let's see, hang on. Where's polycap 11? There it is. Okay. Plus that other little sheet of polycaps here, this one. So got quite a few. I'm sure there's going to be some leftovers. We're not going to end up using all of them, but there's going to be quite a few. The amount of parts makes me not want to build my Zoids. Also, not much time on my hands. I mean, it's the kind of thing, I mean, you don't have to sit down and finish it all in one go. Even for me, normally I would on a regular Zoids kit. This one's just particularly large, so I'm not going to in this case. Ooh. But like on the Firefox kit, for example, when I do the live build of that, I'll be able to do that like in one sitting. For the build anyway. I mean, obviously there's all the preparation of the parts that go in ahead of time. But at least for the live build, you can knock that out in one sitting. So I mean, in theory, if you're just building that at home, then I mean, you could build it in a few days, maybe like a week if you work on it for like maybe an hour or so a day. Everybody works at different speeds, so I mean, don't hold yourself to any like preconceived idea of, oh, I need to finish this within X amount of time. But you know, just to try to estimate what I think it might be around, I mean, maybe a week or so. For like I said, for like the Firefox kit, other kits, you know, will be bigger depending on what it is you're building. Here's our lower jaw piece here. Pretty big. Let's see. All right, then we need PC 22 here as well, which would be, what would have been a good idea. This is another thing too, maybe I'll do for the next couple of parts, is I'll also cut out all the polycaps at the same time. For part 2, I already have all the parts cut out from the runners. I just need to go through and clean up all the nub marks and everything, and then do the panel lining on them ahead of time. I may even opt to, and again, this kind of goes, I'll have to see how this goes today. But the other thing that I'm considering doing is I won't do the panel lining ahead of time like I have for this one, but I'll put everything together and then do the panel lining. Because the problem with doing your panel lining ahead of time is I'll inevitably panel line some areas that'll end up getting covered up, or they're not going to end up being even visible at all. So it was ultimately just kind of a waste of time. That's the thing that I would like to try to avoid. So here's where these parts go that I was curious about before. Wait a second. That's not right. Here we go. Wait a minute. That was right. Okay. So I think probably the better way to go will be to do the panel lining once it's assembled, because then I can know for sure that I'm not screwing around, wasting time panel lining parts that aren't going to be showing. Oh no, where the hell are those parts now? That's going to be a problem. Let's see. Hopefully they're over here. I might have tossed these into the wrong part, or I don't have them. It's looking like I don't have them. Well, that's a problem. So there's a couple of parts that it looks like I didn't cut out. That's weird. Well, fingers crossed I didn't throw the runner away. That means I have the parts at home. I just need to make sure that I have them. Maybe we'll get lucky and I'll find them in a different spot, but all right. So there's going to be a couple of parts on here that I can't put on right now because apparently I didn't cut them off the runner. That's unfortunate. With so many parts, it was bound to happen, right? I can tell myself that and feel a little bit better. There's like this little piping part here that goes on the side, so it'll be really easy to just slap on there later. But it's just kind of annoying. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully I didn't throw that runner out already. I'm usually pretty good at paying attention to not throwing away a runner if there's still parts on it, but I'd be lying if I would tell you guys that it hasn't happened before, because it absolutely has happened. Wait a minute. Oh, actually, I take that back. Should just make a mental note to remember that if it's anything from the F or G runner, then it's a part that I repainted. All right, there we go. That's good news. So I do have the parts right here. It's just repainted to orange. we go. And we put the one on the other side or not yet? Well, we got this one here like that. And this lower jaw piece in here. Man, it's looking pretty cool already, I gotta say. Really happy with the orange recolor there as well. Yeah, I'm definitely thinking that doing the panel lining after assembly is going to be a better way to go, because I'm seeing like a number of spots where I did the panel lining and I ultimately didn't need to, because it's just stuff that's like getting covered up. So I think I will do that. Let's see. So it's kind of a tricky bit to line up here. Come on. Come on. No. Get in there. Well, you can actually stay out for a minute then. Okay, come on. Who's not lined up properly? There we go. Okay, so with that, we got a couple more orange parts here, which are going to be slightly different. We got this here. Let's see. I'll watch an episode or two of Star Trek Next Generation at night, and then gradually build one segment of a kit before bed. There you go. Let's see. Because this is not super clear. Hang on. I want to make sure putting this in the right side. Where the hell did this part go? Definitely not here. Some other section later on. Here's our head. Ooh, he's a big boy. And this part here is like very loose. I don't know why. For the canopy, just kind of basically resting on there. Interesting. But yeah, these parts here, how can these go on? So let's see. Does it go like that or like that? Fuck. Can't quite tell. Okay, well, that illustration's a little bit easier to see. Let's see. Nope, I think that's this one. Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right, okay. I got it. Bow and bow. All right. Head's done. There we go. What do you think about that? Looks pretty cool, I gotta say. Definitely happy with that choice to change the blue to orange. It's definitely a more interesting color for me. Wasn't really all that happy with the blue color, but there we go. We're off to the races. And the next part is the chest. Like neck, actually. Let's do this. Wait a minute. There we go. Gotta head out. All right. See you, Joel. Hello from Jacksonville. What's up there in Jacksonville? Not too far away. Such fond memories of Zoids. Yeah, I don't like. I watched the show when it was on Toonami, but I know there's a couple of shows, so I've only seen the one. And was the Gojulas ever featured in any of the shows, or is it only something I don't know what maybe from what's it from? Game or something as well. I'm sure there's Zoids games. I don't know what else there is other than shows. I can assume there's like all the standard forms of media, games, manga. Well, I guess that'd be it. And then anime, right? But All right. For this, though, we are going to need a couple of these larger pieces, I think. Not that one, not that one, not that one, not that one, not that one. Not that one, not that one. Definitely not that one. Let's see. Or do I have them here? Or no, I don't. Yep, that one. And that one. There you go. Okay. And polycap 2, number 41. Wait, right? Yeah. 41. Okay. And these couple of smaller pieces. Yeah. I remember building them in the early 90s. Early 90s, that would have been Takara Zoids kits, right? I think I've only ever built the one. Oh shit, more polycaps. 6 and 6. And the one Takara Zoids kit that I've built, which was the Berserk Fury, if I remember correctly, it wasn't great. I didn't like it. I mean, but I can understand if you have that nostalgia for it, like if that's what you've built back in the day, I'm sure they were cool. But like now, in comparison, it's kind of like building a like non-grade 1/100 scale kit from like the 90s, like Gunpla, compared to building like an MGEX kit now, pretty much. We're very, and like if you're a Zoids fan, you're very spoiled with the Kotobukiya kits. I mean, I can see what some people probably still have like a fondness for the Takara kits and maybe even prefer those. But I mean, for how good the Kotobukiya kits are, they're very good. All right. There we go. Just a second. Chaotic Sentry and Guardian Force. Still at work for a few minutes, and then back to finish my Shinanju Stein, Jules said. I remember playing with Zoids in Japan in the 80s, and every other manner of toys and such. Nice. Is the MG Impulse Blanche worth buying? Yeah, the Impulse Blanche, I think it's a cool kit. I liked it. It depends on how much it's going for. I mean, is it worth like $200? No, not at all. Is it worth $100? Maybe. I don't remember what the MSRP is for that. Like, P Bandai price is probably, if I had to guess, probably around like 70 or something. So if you can get it anywhere around 100 or less, I would say yeah. Anything more than that, I mean, it really just kind of depends on how much you want it. There's also a chance that it may be reprinted. So, I mean, depending on where you live, if you live in a country, like if you live in the US, where P Bandai is available when it's reprinted, then you could just opt to just wait for it to be reprinted. But wait a minute. How the hell does this go on here? So, wait, this fits on top of there like that? Is that all? I guess so. Okay, yeah, I see. Yeah, sure. Okay, it does fit like that. All right. So that'll kind of move a little bit like that, I guess. Okay. All right. Moving on then. This one is not that one. This one. We got a few different bits on here. That is Okay, these parts need to go together. My friend got a slot from P Bandai official, so I'm thinking about should I buy it or not. I mean, yeah, I like I said, I like the Impulse Blanche. Really cool design. I like it a lot more than the regular Impulse and a lot more than the regular Destiny, which is like a kind of a combination of, right? One and two. The silver and gold accent parts on here would be really nice too. Like that. Impulse Blanche is an absolute beauty, but far too expensive in my country. Yeah, like I said, if it's... I don't remember when the last time it got reprinted. I'm sure it has been reprinted since its initial release. I don't know exactly when, if it was recently or not. But like I said, if you can find it, if it's been reprinted like anytime fairly recently, then it should be pretty close to the original price. And in that case, yeah, if you can get it for around there, definitely check it out. All right. If I might ask, how many Metal Gear versions are there? I've been watching your reviews before I get one of the Rex. So, Young, to answer your question, of the Rex, there's the original version, and then there's the black version, and then there's the Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots version, which is like the damaged version. That's all the different versions of the Rex. Of the Ray, there's only the one. There's not even a black version of the Ray, if I remember correctly. There's only one Ray, and there of the Sahelanthropus, there's two. There's the regular one and the black version of that as well. I think that covers everything. If I had to recommend any of them, I mean, the Metal Gear Solid 4 version of the Rex does have all the parts for you to make just the standard Rex with it. But, so, I mean, you have more in the kit, so you have the option of making it as either the damaged version or the standard version, but you're paying more. So if you don't want the damaged parts, then just get the regular version. Are you going to review of a Joy Toy? I don't think so. I mean, I definitely don't have any on deck for review, I can tell you that much. PC2 4. 4. And 4. Alright. Have you heard about the upcoming Zoids Realized Model 100 Scale Zoids line? No, I don't think so. What's that? Don't think that I've heard anything about that. All right, so we got this one here, and first we need to put on, yeah, that was another painted part here, G. Remember, let's remind ourselves again, remember anything in the G or F runner is going to be a painted part. And I'll mention this again later, but just in case anyone's wondering about exactly what color orange I used, it is oh shit, what's the word? I was trying when I was talking about this earlier, I was trying to think of the word for it. What would be the word? Because English is difficult and obviously not my first language. Totally is, but I can pretend it's not. Something that cannot be replaced. Irreplaceable? No. Can't be recreated. What would be the word for something that can't be recreated? Anyway, this color of orange cannot be recreated because it's just a mix of other stuff. So I've talked about before, like I keep some spare bottles. Like anytime I do like a custom color and I have some left over, I can't put it back in the bottle because it's already custom mixed and it would change the color of whatever bottle I put it back into. So in that case, I have to, I just toss it into just a bottle. So like if it's anything like yellowish or reddish or orangish, I have a bottle for like that like orangish color, and everything just goes into there. So that's what I have. That's what I use for this. It's an orange that's just a mix of custom colors that I've all thrown into a bottle over the couple years, basically. No, that one. PC1E. Totally forgot that Destiny Impulse have an MG kit. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. E. Remember when that was a meme? It was just E, right? Wasn't it? Am I remembering that correctly? Or it was just E? Good old days. Does like anyone on PewDiePie or anybody else like that? Do they still do meme reviews? Is that still a thing? It's not something that I've kept up with. And I need the opposite of this one, which is not here for some reason. Which means it's here. One shot? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, anyway, there we go. Make sure I'm paying attention to what I'm doing here. Hang on. This bit. I don't think so. Thank God. I mean, meme review. It was a fun time, right? No. I mean, it just kind of depends. Some were better than others, naturally. 1 and 2. There you go. Got all that. Everything just kind of stacks up like that to make all this lovely detail on here. Do you think the MG RX-78 will come out next year? What? Revan, what do you mean? MG RX-78 Oh, you mean, are you asking like if just any MG RX-78 will come out next year? Or like just kind of, you're making a joke about how we always tend to get new versions of the RX-78 Is that the joke? I would say I don't think that we get a new version of the RX-78 not an MG next year. That would be my guess. Boy, should I put, well, I was gonna say, should I put some glue on this? I actually don't have like glue right here at the moment. I do have a little bit. Should I put some glue on that right now? Kind of might as well, right? Just to make sure that nobody is going anywhere. I'll throw a little bit on here, just for kicks. Not gonna hurt anything. There we go. Yeah, I'll just leave that right here for right now. So yeah, I think that's our neck, possibly. Oh, the pilot just flew out of the cockpit there. So yeah, we'll just leave the pilot out for the time being, I guess. But I think this is going to go on here like that, right? Let's just skip ahead a little bit because I'm impatient. I think we don't even like final assemble anything until like the very end, but We can't wait that long. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway. Is this the right page? Yes. Okay. Here to give you a sense of where we're at thus far. It's already gigantic. It's already bigger than an HD kit. Easily. But anyway, I think that's right? Why does it look kind of weird? Yep, that is right. Okay. Where were we? Meant RX-72 4.0. Okay, an MG 4.0? No, I don't think so. I mean, that's very much a possibility at some point in time. I don't think that we're going to be seeing a 4.0. I mean, anytime soon. I could definitely be wrong, but if we're going to get another version of the RX-72, let me think. What would it be? My guess, because we're getting the 2.0 of the RG, and if we're gonna get anything else, I guess I don't think a new version of the MG, unless, well, actually, you know what I would really love is if we did get a 2.0 of the RX-72 Verka. I would be very, very happy with that. Ecstatic. What's up? Ron, are you here to clean right now? Huh? All that stuff there is, you can leave right now. I'm just kind of working on that stuff. You need to come in? This would be the parts for the arm connection here. I guess they're gonna come back later. Alright. Actually, that's supposed to be ×2 in it. Alright, okay. Got that there. That's through there. Yeah, definitely did forget that part, didn't I? Oops. All right. Well, pretty good that we made it to just about an hour in before I made any mistakes that I had to pull out the part separator. It's not too bad. If I would have been paying attention. Would have noticed that, but there we go. No worries. Can't believe that Gojulas' head is big enough to qualify as a bust. I mean, yeah, you pretty much could just make this as like a bust kit like this. I think once we get there's a couple of more parts on here that I think will also like help to look like a full-on bust. But yeah, it definitely will look the part. And let's see. And there's another big part that we need. And a couple more, well, let's see. A couple more little parts. I got kind of these little parts here that I have here, which actually go on like the next section, interestingly enough. So that goes on there. This goes on here. How much does this kit go for now, guys? Mike Wazowski, I think the price on this kit is around 230. I want to say something like that. And if I'm correct on that, it's a massive kit. So I mean, it's very much worth the price. I mean, there's more parts and stuff I think probably than most perfect grade kits. And so, I mean, yeah, you just have a ton of stuff here. Oh, yeah. All right. Good thing I glued those parts, and I'm gonna glue this part too, actually. Ooh. Which I may live to regret. But we'll see. I don't think so. Anything that seems to be like a particularly load-bearing structure inside, I feel like I'm just gonna go ahead and just glue it because it's probably for the best. This thing's gonna be big, it's gonna be heavy, and then I'm gonna be adding the cannons onto it and everything else, so might as well just glue it. You know, kind of like Nike said, just do it. There's that. We've also got these, excuse me, these parts here. Like that. And here. Do you know the advanced dry brush technique? The one with wet brush and texture palette? No, not really. I don't know that. So now these parts added on here will. Wait! Damn it! Good thing before I really squeezed that onto there, I remembered that I forgot about this part that needs to go inside there because we need this extra bit of detail inside this part here, which is going to be almost impossible to see. Yeah, no, I'm kind of torn. Earlier I was talking about how I'm on this. I did all the panel lining on the parts ahead of time, but I think in the later parts of the build, I'll do the panel lining after assembly just to make sure that I'm not wasting time panel lining parts that are not going to end up showing at all. On the flip side of that, it is kind of cool that, I mean, I do have panel lining, even in these like really like hard to reach parts that like you can barely see. But if you do happen to catch a glimpse like deep down inside there, you can see that it is actually panel line. Whereas if I did this after the fact, I probably wouldn't do that. So maybe it is a better idea. But anyway, yeah, here's your Gojulas bust. It's pretty cool. Basically, if you just left it like that. Definitely happy with the orange color on this rather than the blue. So yeah, very nice. I don't like how loose. I mean, like, it doesn't matter for any particular reason, but I don't like how loose the canopy is. It's kind of dumb. But there we go. Have our little highlight right there. Getting eaten. All right. Next, we do have another one of these. PC41. We're gonna need another one of right here. And actually, let's see. It's for that one. Let's not skip ahead. You want more MG? No, here's another RX-72. Well, I mean, hey, I get the sentiment of not wanting just more RX-72s all the time, but I mean, come on, you know that MG 2.0 RX-78-2 Verka would be pretty cool, you have to admit. Alright, so more big pieces here. Just kind of get everything out. And there. Set those to the side. Okay. It's kind of hard to see this right here. Viewed from the top, the head reminds me of a sports car in SD proportions. I can see what you mean. How you have like a hood. If it had like the hood open or whatever, there's like the windscreen and it's like the engine right there, right? Yeah, I see what you mean. Okay, we need some polycaps, and we need 2 and 5, 6, and 44 for this part. Just one of each, though, right? For the moment, 5, 6, and 44. 44 is all the way here in the corner. 5 and 6 right here. Is that, and this one is right here. So this now section that we're getting into is like the core of the torso. That was the chest we got finished up there. Now we're into the rest of like the body. All right, polycaps in place, and then we need I think some this far. There, like that. Then, let's see, one of these. Which one? This one? Yes. Right? That's going to go on first. Orange piece, and then this one. PC 20 we need. PC 20. Where is it? 20. The numbers kind of skip around here on the polycap runners, so it's not a matter of just counting, because here's 21, but 20 is not anywhere around it. There's 23 over there. Polycap 20, and then up here at the top we got 26, 27, 28, 29. 20 would be where? There it is, like right in the middle of nowhere. Well, it is right next to polycap 19, I guess, in fairness, but then next to 25 and 33 and 15. So, all right. I can tell you, doing the panel lining, the hardest part to do the panel lining on was on these spike parts. There's so much detail on these fins on the back. So that one's right there. And this one, the smaller one, down here at the bottom. All right, that's step 23. So there's that part done. Need 5, 6, and 44 again now for the other side. Is right here. All right, what's going on with you guys? Any other questions about the build so far? Any plans for the 4th of July if you're in the US and planning to celebrate? We're going to be doing a cookout with some friends and neighbors and family. And hopefully the weather will be nice. And by nice, I mean not terribly hot. It's undoubtedly going to rain at some point. It's kind of no avoiding that. Okay, yeah. Last year it was like super hot, and we were outside. We spent the whole day we were outside, hanging out outside, eating. We were barbecuing, and I mean, it was hot as hell. But I mean, once you're out and you just kind of accept it, then it's not that bad. I don't know, but hopefully it'll be a little bit nicer this year. But I don't see how it could possibly be any nicer unless it's like cloudy and breezy. That'd be nice. I kind of doubt that. Compared to Bandai's plastic, how is Kotobukiya's plastic quality up? Good. Kind of depends on what you're looking for. I mean, like, because by Bandai plastic, that could, I mean, depends on what you're talking about. I mean, like, their newer type of plastic, which is like the really soft type plastic that they use in like a lot of the recent like HG kits and stuff. It's definitely not like that. It is kind of your more, I guess, I don't know, traditional, harder plastic, I guess, but it's good. It's not like very brittle or unforgiving or anything like that. It's nice. It's not that noticeably different. I mean, if you build a lot of Bandai kits, and then if you go to build a Kotobukiya kit, you're not going to be like, what the heck is this? Ooh, yeah, that's real tight. That's good, though. Alright. Can we get this together? Come on. Oof. Oof. This first live build for this kit will also be a good way for me to kind of gauge exactly how long it takes, because I think I have a pretty good sense of like how long I'm expecting this to take, basically just based on like filling this one container. So like all the parts that we're building today are basically filled up like one of my large boxes that I usually use for like a master grade build or whatever, plus the addition of like a handful of like really big parts that just didn't fit in the box that I had to just keep separately in a bag. But generally, like using a large box like this to build an MG, I can usually do, within a couple hours for a live build. So that's kind of what I estimated for this. So I figure, like if I try doing anything more than what will fit in a box, it'll be like too long of a live stream. But if I just kind of try to stick to what will fit in a box here, that should be pretty manageable. So we'll see. We're just at hour 15 right now. We're kind of about like halfway through, so I figure maybe about 2.5 hours total. Probably be a good guess. Possibly even less. Well, we'll see. My July builds are Freedom, Gun Sniper, MG Heavy Arms EW, and the American type. It sounds very American, definitely. The most American kits I had in my backlog. Yep, there you go. Definitely indeed. Walk Skins over there on Twitch. What's going on? Who's watching over there on Twitch? Anybody else? He said, what's up? I was thinking about trying airbrushing and was looking at the Iwata Neo as my first. Is that a decent airbrush to start with? Yeah, I believe so. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head like what makes the Neo different from other Iwata airbrushes, but just as a brand, Iwata's good, yeah. So yes, I would. And the Neo, as far as I can remember, is a really common one that a lot of people use, a lot of people have. So yes, I would say it's a good bet. Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. And yeah, if anyone's wondering about that supposed How to Paint Gunpla with Airbrush series that I was meant to be working on. Yeah, it's still in the works, I will say. So actually, so from this Friday, well, kind of technically, but from this Saturday, make sure that that's on there good and well, because those parts are slightly different. Okay. Fortunately, I actually managed to put the right one on in the right place without really checking it carefully. From this Saturday, I'm going to be on vacation for 2 weeks. I'm going to go up and visit my parents up in Illinois. Actually, I was thinking about this. I was thinking if I wanted to see if, because I'm planning to visit. I don't live in Chicago. It's not where my parents are living, and I'm not going to be in Chicago the whole time that I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. But for some time during that 2-week time, I am going to be visiting Chicago anyway. I was actually thinking about seeing if anyone wanted to get together for just like a meetup kind of thing. So it's actually something I need to actually look into. But I don't know exactly yet the dates when we're going to be there in Chicago. I do know some people that live there. What the hell? But I'm sure there's more people like that I know of, and I just don't know that they live in Chicago, or that that maybe I don't know they live in Chicago. Anyway, I'm sure there's people in Chicago that I would like to meet, and maybe would like to meet me. And it would be cool to meet up. I'm going to be there like with family, doing family stuff, so it's not at all a kind of the purpose of the visit. But if it's something that I think we might be able to make time for while we're there, that'd be cool to just try to meet up with some people, if it's just briefly, even just like for dinner or something like that while we're there. So it'd be cool. So gonna think about that. What was I saying about it? Anyway, while I'm on vacation, one thing that I would like to do, like kind of work-wise, while I'm on vacation, is get everything finished for the planning of the How to Paint Gunpla with Airbrush kind of mini series that I plan on doing, sort of similarly to the How to Paint Gunpla with Spray Can series that I just recently did. But yeah, like I talked about in that series, I want to do one about airbrushing. So I'll work on getting the plan all done for that. That's not right. I'll work on getting the plan all done so that when I'm back from that vacation, I can try to get that video done and out for you guys to hopefully enjoy and or take advantage of, as I hope you'll find it useful. All right. There's our more spikes here for the back. Whoa, Zoids. Yes, last one I built was the OG Caterpillar one. I need to check them out again. Yes, you do, because that also would be an old Takara kit, I can only assume, because I don't think Kotobukiya makes any of the like Caterpillar type ones. Building an airbrush booth. No, Revan, it's not going to cover making an airbrush booth. It's just going to cover just like the actual painting process of painting Gunpla. All right, so we got to put this part onto this part. So give me a second here, because there's like a number of different steps involved with this, and I got to make sure that I put everything together properly here as best I can. So that, let's see, it's through and around here into the back. Hey, there we go. Like that. Oh boy, it's getting very hefty. It's getting so heavy already. Let's see. And then these parts go on the side to kind of hold that together in place then. Okay, so I don't really need to glue. We'll probably put a little bit of glue on this part here as well. Or maybe not, because these plastic parts actually, these parts that fit over kind of over the shoulder actually connect what is like this back part to the torso part pretty nicely. And then, let's see, these ones go underneath here. Like this. It's looking pretty cool, I gotta say. For like a minimum effort, and that I just mean that like I only repainted the blue parts. It's not entirely repainted. And then only just did like some simple panel lining on it. I mean, it's looking pretty cool, I gotta say, already. And then we will put some of the decals on. I'm only going to, in order to just like, again, in order to not spend like months and months on this project, I'm only going to use whatever decals were included with the kit, and not even all of them, even like just some of them I'll put on like here and there. But I mean, you could go to town and just adding like tons of detail painting, tons of decals and everything else on this. I mean, you could absolutely spend ages working on this. I will not, but I mean, well, I will spend ages, but you could spend like double ages, triple ages even, working on a kit this massive. We got that, and we need PC9 here as well. This part right here, PC9 goes up into there, and this one's right here. But so far, I mean, the build, just in terms of like the comfortability of it, I mean, like there's a lot of parts, but it's been very straightforward. Nothing like nothing too intense. There's something I'll point out to here. Just a second. Let me get this guy on here. Like I had mentioned this earlier, but like in the instructions, there's some parts where there's like a lot of information packed into a little tiny square here. So I mean, if you have trouble reading small print, I mean, like there's a lot there, but yeah, it's been pretty easy so far. Very low stress, which is nice. All right, there's this one. That goes there. Okay, this one here. That goes there. This here. Okay, this part that we're building now is like going to be more towards the center of the body, and the area where the Zoids core is going to be stored in here, which we'll get to here in just a second. You'll see that. One. Okay. Oh, wait. What? Huh? This part, you lift up first. Okay. Then put that one there. And this one here. Because, yeah, I'm sure you guys definitely are. I don't know if you're noticing or not, but you may notice me like squinting a bunch at the manual just because, yeah, it's a lot of information packed into a small little space there. Don't know why I have these parts here. I cut these off and I didn't really need them quite yet, apparently. All right. Do you have any other hobbies not at all related to models, like watches, knives, cologne? Oh, no, definitely nothing of that variety. I mean, the only thing I would say recently been trying to It's not necessarily like new hobbies or hobbies that I do a lot, but hobbies that like kind of I've had for a long time that I kind of don't really spend a ton of time on. But recently, I'm trying to kind of spend a bit more time on other hobbies other than just Gunpla and like model kits all the time. And so for that, I have been studying a little bit more, both Korean and Japanese. Korean, as many of you guys know, I do speak, a fair amount. Not fluent by any means, but like a decent amount, just because I lived there for a long time. Japanese, I actually studied in college before I went to Korea, and I did live in Japan for a little while, and so I used to be a lot better at it, but in more recent years, I just kind of hardly ever use it, so just kind of trying to get better again at that. So it's been like studying both. Like the Korean I can actually use a lot more because I can use it with my wife, my kids at home. So just kind of like trying to study some of just try to add to my vocabulary basically. But for Japanese, I kind of need like a little bit of everything when it comes to studying that. So for that, just been doing that. And then the other thing too is reading. Been trying to, that's upside down. Been trying to spend some more time enjoying reading. So I can actually do a little bit of both. I've been doing a little bit of trying to practice reading in Japanese. So that kind of helps to kind of kill two birds with one stone. I can read more, which is something that I want to do, and be studying the language that I'm studying. So right now I'm reading Yotsubato, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with. And especially if you are also at all interested in studying Japanese, you're probably just familiar with the fact that it's a pretty common one for people to use as a study tool because it's a pretty simple story. I get some. Oh shit. Pretty good. More simple manga, anyway. So yeah, it's good for my current level, anyway. You got all the furigana and everything and all that, so that's good. I didn't expect that there was like an exact precise position for the Zoids core part, but there is, in fact. Yeah. What was the most surprising thing and out Japan, maybe I guess you meant about Japan, that most people in the US would not expect? It's a good question. The most surprising thing that most people would not expect. This is maybe not the most surprising thing that most people would not expect, but shit, there is another clear part that should go here that I didn't have, I don't think. I think I left off for the time being, so I'm going to make a little note here. Excuse me a minute. I'll come back to your question just a second. Make a note about that. So this is maybe not something that most people would not expect about Japan, but as you may be aware of, that in the US, so that, anyway, just pardon me for a moment. There's a little clear part here that I left off, and that's what I'm kind of mentioning about, that I'll have to add that in later. But ultimately, this part goes in here, and you're never ever going to see it again. So I could probably just not even need to worry about that. But this is the Zoids core part right there. Zoid core, I guess is probably the right word. Anyway, as you may know, yeah, there's a lot of people here in the US and then probably throughout the world as well that would say they're fans of Japan. Japan is very popular as a country, as a culture, the media, video games, obviously anime, manga, it's incredibly popular out of Japan. And so I would say one way to answer your question for me, I would say, is that for all of those people, for all like the Japan fans out there, I won't say weeaboos because I don't think that necessarily applies to everyone. There's a lot of people who are just, kind of generally fans and probably wouldn't, that term probably wouldn't be a good fit for a lot of people, but some people. It's not a magical wonderland where everything's perfect and everyone's nice and everything's fun and everything works all perfectly all the time, and it's just like a magic utopia. It's not at all that. Not at all that. And I think it's a very different experience too, living there versus visiting there. So when you're visiting there, you will get a lot of that magical wonderland type of experience where you're just gonna be amazed by everything, and it's lovely country, lovely people. I love it. I do. Great place. But it definitely has its share of problems, like any other country. So that's just kind of the one thing that you do kind of see this kind of general sense from a lot of people that they just kind of idolize Japan as this like amazing place. But it's just they have their same, well, it's not necessarily the same problems, but just like any other country, any other place in the world, there's problems, there's stuff that you wouldn't like there. So it's not the kind of place that, like, if you're an American and you're thinking like, America sucks, I want to move to Japan, everything will be so much better there. Yeah, a lot of things will be better, but then you'll find things that you don't like about there too. So are you going to review the Scaventide box? What even is that? I don't even know what that is, in fact. But let me think. To answer Hentoys, to answer your question in a different way, because that answer really kind of only applies to, like I was saying, kind of weeaboo types, for lack of a better word. But just for kind of like for most people generally, what's something that they wouldn't expect? That you have to take your shoes off when you go inside someone's house, which for most people on visiting Japan is probably never, ever, ever going to happen. So probably never going to actually have that situation, run into that situation. I don't know. It's interesting. Okay. But in all seriousness, let me think. What's something that other people wouldn't expect? 16. In my experience, while Japan is like a super densely populated, and especially in Tokyo, of course, like there's just loads of people everywhere. It's at the same time, it can be a very lonely place because there's people everywhere, but it's not, like just generally, unless you have like a face-to-face like interaction with someone outside of just like ordering at a restaurant or like asking a store clerk, where can I find this or whatever, you're not really ever going to interact with people. It's not a very friendly place generally. Like when you have an interaction with someone, the people are very friendly, but it's not like when you're walking down the street, like you'll say hello to people as you pass. Like that's something that like is pretty normal here in the US, but that just like doesn't happen there. You don't just like randomly greet people, and you actually shouldn't do that. Just because it makes people uncomfortable. And like you see, this was like a big deal. I think it was like one of the Paul brothers, Logan Paul or Jake Paul or whatever, when they went to Japan. That was like a big controversy because they were just over there like being a dick. And they're not the only ones too. Like other YouTubers, influencers, or whatever. And it's kind of like been a bit of a thing lately. They'll go over there and they're just kind of acting the fool. And yeah, you don't want to be that person. And by just going over there, just like randomly saying hello to people on the street, Japanese people don't like that. You shouldn't do that. But like I said, if you're actually in a situation where you're at a bar or restaurant or something and there's Japanese people at the table next to you that might be like, hey, hi, how are you? And they might actually, like, outside of just saying hello, which is a kind of thing, some people like that, some people don't. But outside of just like a random hello, some people might be like really friendly and they might invite you to like join their group for some drinks, whatever. You can absolutely have that kind of friendly situation, but just kind of normally passing through. I realized the camera went dead. I'll fix that in just a second. Yeah, it's not a super friendly place and can feel quite lonely at times, which is an interesting juxtaposition, I guess, just compared to just the fact that there's, like I said, people everywhere. You wouldn't think that you would go there and end up feeling lonely at all. But you absolutely can. And again, this also just kind of depends on, again, if you're just visiting or if you're actually living there. If you're just visiting, it's probably not anything that you're going to notice at all, because you're most likely not visiting by yourself too. But if you are visiting by yourself, you might actually get that feeling, but it just kind of depends. Some people have more of a tendency to feel lonely than others. So anyway, it's weird Americans don't take shoes off in their house. We do, yeah. At my house we do, because from Korea, in Korea they do the same thing, just like in Japan, they take their shoes off when they go inside. He said, I'm half Filipino and it's a rule, but logically, who wants to attract dirt in the house? Yeah, I agree. Here in Florida, most houses are like half carpet, half tile, or like mostly tile with some carpet, usually like carpet in the bedrooms, and then like tile kind of in the kitchen, living room, areas like that. So I mean, if your house has a lot of tile, and like especially in the Philippines, I know a lot of houses in the Philippines have a lot of tile. So if it's a house that has a lot of tile, I can understand, not taking your shoes off, I guess. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things that they do over there, and and I don't even know about other countries in Europe or other parts of Asia or Africa. I don't know if people take off their shoes in other parts of the world or not, but at least for what we're talking about, it is one of those things that they do over there in Japan and Korea, Philippines, that it is kind of odd. I wonder why they don't do that here too, but I don't know. All right, next up we've got this part, which is the hip section. It's going to be the next part. Already kind of running out of space here. This thing's kind of taking over. There you have these like cannons there on like the chest, middle of the body sort of section. It's already getting very large over here. So we got that. And some more piston detail parts here for this part. Looks like it's going to be a huge kit. Yes, I agree. Casually said, when I was in Japan, I saw a guy leaving a maid cafe. He asked the girl for a goodbye hug. She denied the hug and offered a high five instead. Japan can indeed be a lonely place. Casually, that's interesting. Was that a Japanese person or a foreigner or something? So I figure my sense would be that a Japanese person wouldn't even ask for a hug. But I could totally imagine a situation where, like, seeing like a foreigner leaving from a maid cafe would ask for a hug and they would say no. I could definitely see that. But yeah, I would be surprised to see a Japanese person even ask for that. Oh yeah, it was a Japanese person, you said. That's interesting. Yeah, that's odd for sure. That's definitely not normal. But yeah, interesting. And I'm surprised that he would even ask, because I mean, that's the kind of thing you would think any person would know the answer to. That's why I was saying, like, if it's a foreigner doing it, I could understand that, you know, maybe they don't know the culture that well or whatever, but definitely not gonna, I mean, like, people, it's not like a country like nobody hugs there, but especially in the service industry like that, like you might hug like a close friend or a family member, possibly something like that. Or if like you went over there as a homestay or something, you might, you know, like hug your homestay host or whatever. But yeah, someone in the service industry like that at a maid cafe, not gonna be hugging them. And that's, yeah, again, like when my immediate thought was that might be a foreigner, because I can understand how it also might be a bit confusing, that especially in like a maid cafe situation, because like I've actually never been to one. It's one thing that I would like to actually do at some point when I go over to visit, because I just kind of, out of curiosity, I would just like to have that experience, but they're so expensive. So like $30, $40, $50 for like a half hour or an hour stay like that. And it's just kind of, at the end of the day, like, even though I've not had the experience and I would kind of be curious to try it out, I mean, I know what it's like. I mean, you just go in and sit and you can talk with the staff there. I think you would be talking like with one staff in particular, either that by your choice or that's who is assigned to you or whatever. But yeah, you go in and like part of the experience is that they're kind of being your companion for the time that you're in there, essentially, right? And so I can understand like that confusion, like when you're going out, like you've just spent either 30 minutes to an hour just like talking with this person, and you know, on your right, you're thinking like, oh, I want to give this person a hug that I just spent this amount of time with, maybe. But yeah, definitely not. All right, so this part here that we're on now looks to be the base of the tail and the hip section. So like this part here is the hip section. This is the base of the tail where the tail is going to plug into there. Whoa! Oof. That's strong. Very nice. Okay. Next. Okay. There's that. It's gonna go on here. There's a lot of parts that end up locking other parts together. So like these two parts where you just had pressed together, and this part that goes on the front will lock those two together. So that's good for like a kit that's as big and heavy as this kit is going to be. It's already heavy now, but it's going to be keep getting heavier and heavier, obviously, as we're adding more parts to it. For a kit this big and heavy, you're gonna want a lot of parts kind of interlocking together to just kind of make sure that everything's nice and secure. Wait. All right, give me a second, guys. Wife is calling. What's up, Ron? Anyway, there we go. A couple of other orange pieces. We do have a few left for today. But yeah, I gotta say, really, really happy with the choice to go with orange for the accent colors instead of the blue. I'm really liking how it's looking, especially with like the tan and gray. It's very much in line with what I often refer to as the best color scheme out there. So I'm liking it. What we do, actually, I probably don't need those quite yet. Soon enough, though. And in fact, need some of these parts. So we're going to make the hip connection parts here, actually, next. Leg, yeah, hip connection, leg connection, yeah. It's just one thing that I can't stand about Japan work culture is blame shifting, bullying, and afraid to voice their opinions, concern. Yes, first name, last name. Yes. That's why I was talking about, like, it's a very different experience living and working there compared to visiting there, because there's a number of different cultural issues and things like that, but a lot of the negatives around Japan society or culture are related to work. Yes, absolutely. And yeah, as someone who worked there for a year, yeah, I can definitely agree. And like where I worked was just like an eikaiwa. It's like a small, there's probably like 5, 1, 2, 6, 7 people on staff in just like a small English academy. And even in there, yes, I did have that experience of like a slight experience of Japanese work culture. I mean, I don't know what you would call that. Anyway, yeah, it was not good. I mean, like mine, it wasn't like, how do I want to say this? It wasn't like abusive or anything necessarily like that. But it was not good. I mean, like, yeah, it had like, I had been like ratted out to the boss, like by other employees there in our very small office. Like I said, it's only like 6, 7 people in our office. And I had been ratted out to our boss and like got in trouble because rather than like just doing the busy work that they assigned for us to do, I had been like that particular couple days or that week or something like that, whatever, I had been spending like more time just like on my phone or something. We actually weren't even supposed to be on our phones at all in the office. Or just was like not super focused and maybe just like sometimes just kind of like just looking out the window and in our particular company that I was working at, we had a lot of just busy work, in my opinion, where like if we didn't have lessons at that particular time or that particular day or whatever, we weren't in class teaching, then like our boss had us like just redoing lesson plans. Like, okay, here's like a binder of all the lesson plans for this one particular textbook. So this week, like it would be my job this week to like when I wasn't in lessons and preparing for like my lessons for that week, then what I was supposed to be working on when I was just at my desk was I was supposed to be just like redoing all the lesson plans for this particular textbook. It's like, not necessary at all. Very obviously just busy work just to make sure that we're just like working on something. And I mean, like, is it for the better that we're redoing the lesson plans and like updating them and maybe like coming up with new ideas and things like that? Yeah, sure. But I mean, like, if I'm also, you know, a little bored with it, like, give me a break, right? But yeah, I had experience of actually getting in trouble for that. And not like, oh, we're gonna fire you, but like, just the boss gave me a talking to about that. Stuff like that. So anyway, and yeah, coworkers just like in very like in a way very much in line with Japanese culture as a whole. I'm sure you guys have heard about like the saving face thing and like having like a difference between your public face and your like true emotions, basically. Kind of, people won't complain about anything to your face. They won't tell you that there's anything, like if you're doing something that they don't like, whatever, nobody will ever tell you anything to your face. They'll just like privately go like say something to the boss about it. All right. This is right? Yeah. All right, just checking our time. Let's see. This polycap for the leg here is really tight, but again, it's probably for the best. Go. That, and then this part goes over the top of that. It's got tons of detail on top of detail and everything with this. It is a lot. It's like I was saying earlier, it's going to be a very impressive kit when it's all together, just because the amount of detail, and that's not even like fully painting the thing. One of our subcontracted company manager keeps blaming his workers for any mistake. Had enough of that. I ended doing a fist-to-face. Wow. Okay, yeah. That's pretty extreme, yeah. What kind of, if you don't mind, first name, last name, what kind of work? I mean, so I take it you're obviously working there in Japan, or either are or were working there. What kind of work was it though that you're like dealing with subcontractors and stuff? Just kind of curious as to where that piece went. Oh, it's this one. Duh. Right. That goes on there. And then these gold pieces. The gold pieces are a really nice accent here as well, gotta say. Especially with, that's why I'm really happy with the orange color, because with the dark gray, light gray, and orange, the gold is a really nice accent color with that. Probably would be good with just about anything, but I feel like it matches particularly well with that orange. All right. So that goes in that side. This goes in this side. This part here at the bottom. Like that. And all right, that's kind of it for this section at the moment. this one here. All right. It's going to be kind of tricky getting this tiny little gray piece in here in the right way. Come on. Come on. This little circular gray detail part that fits in here, and it needs to fit in a certain way. It's like the connection is like a little L-shaped connection bit. I'm trying to get it in just right. Any kind of paint brand you want to try on Gunpla? Any kind of paint brand? Not really. I mean, like, I'm really happy with the brands that I typically use. It's like usually Gaia or Mr. Color. Usually pretty good. So I'm happy with those. Is that right? No, it's not. Should be this one. One of the challenges with repainting those blue parts to orange before assembling the kit, though, was I also had to be somewhat sure as to what was going to actually end up showing or not. So I erred on the side of just paint every single side of the part possible, just because I don't know what's going to ultimately end up showing or not. Let's see. This part needs to go to the back. It should be like that. And this one to the front like that. Okay. That actually worked out. Okay. Army Painter, AK, Citadel, Vallejo. Of those, the only one that I've tried is AK, and their lacquer paints that I tried worked pretty well. I did try their enamel paint, or not enamel, but their like I think they are. I'm just trying to remember. They were strictly acrylic, or if they were in fact like acrylic lacquers or what. I don't remember exactly, but they're like more acrylic ones, and they had a certain name to them. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I did try some other ones from AK that were either partially or somewhat acrylic or something like that, and I did not like those at all. From the test that I did with them, they just didn't seem right. I'm sure they would be good for other types of models, but not for Gunpla. So that was my experience with those. Okay. Just about done with this hip section. We got this. Another little piece right here. This one, I think I'm going to keep out for the time being. This little clear part, I will go ahead and add that in later, because it's a really easy one to just add in. So these ones are going to fit over the side here. Now, there was a little bit that I missed on that. Right here. There and there. Ugh, almost dropped that. Wouldn't have been a big deal, but there we go. All right, moment of truth. If I can get everything lined up here, what's holding it up? Ooh. It's got that creak to it, but we're all good. Okay. Before I really pressed this on, I was thinking, wait, was this part supposed to go on first or second? But it's second. That's good. All right. And it goes like that. So I just have to remember to add that little clear part into right here later on. But for now, it's looking pretty good. And this thing's getting really big. So I got one more little section, which is going to be like the base, the first part of the tail that we're going to build here for today. We're not quite done yet, but we're already too big almost to fit on the screen there. But it's looking really good. I like it. Very cool. Where can I put this? Right there for right now. Get the rest of our parts out here that we need for this last bit. The base of the tail also has some more like turret kind of guns on it as well, kind of like what you have on the front of the torso. I'm not sure if turret is the right word for them, but some more guns. Anyway. Just going to be all of these parts. We got a couple of big parts there. A couple more orange parts, these couple of parts, and all right. And now that I have this box free, I can get back to work on my narrative Gundam as well. It's waiting on a couple of things. One of the things was that I needed a box to use for it. The other thing is that I was finishing up other projects, so yeah, that'll probably just have to wait. All right, and we're over here now. We sub those companies to manufacture some parts of our OEM manufacturing company. To make it worse, I am the company president. Oh, interesting. What's OEM manufacturing? I probably should know that, but I don't know what that means. Gusevejo matte black is my favorite hand-brushed black paint. All right, smooths out nicely and is very tough against handling. That's good, and it's inexpensive. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, I've never really tried any Vallejo paints, so something to think about maybe. But yeah, no, like I said, I'm very happy with paints that I use. It's primarily Mr. Color, sometimes SMS, sometimes Gaia, and that usually kind of gets me everything that I could possibly need. Happy to see that we're gonna end up using almost all of this polycap runner here for this first section, so that's good. Would be going right here. Original equipment manufacturer. Oh, okay. I mean, I get what that stands for. It still doesn't really mean much to me. I don't really know exactly what that would entail. I'd be interested though. I think it sounds interesting. Okay, let's see. This part goes in there first, then this one. Oh, so this is going to be at like the base of the tail here. Pretty sure I already said that. Then that part in the top, and we can close this up. Wait. All right. That's going to be right there. Okay. These parts. You see 29 and 35. It's gonna go here. Ugh. Very interesting. All right. Anyway, guys, as we're coming towards the end here, should be wrapping this up here pretty soon. Any other questions related to this build so far? I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's just basically large. It's kind of the only real thing about it. Different from kind of your standard any other Kotobukiya HMM Zoids kit. That's what I mean to say. It's not too much different about it, other than the fact it's just bigger and has more parts, but equally complex and detailed. Everything that you would want. Never use Vallejo, but I always see Warhammer builders praising the paint quality. Yeah, it's definitely a lot more common in other modeling genres, I think, than Gunpla. Vallejo, that is. 29. The reason why I'm like, it's not because the fit is bad or anything like that. It's the reason why I'm like really pressing this. It's not that it's a bad fit. It's just that it's a tight part because of the polycap. But again, you absolutely would want it to be tight like that and not to be super loose or anything like that. So just a heads up. Don't be thinking like, ooh, I don't know about that. It looks really difficult to build. You have to be like pressing it like that, but no. PC 20. Remember 20 was the polycap that we were having trouble finding before? I remember that, and that helped me to find it again this time. But we do need some more polycaps again. All right. OEM is we make parts, sell it to other companies that rebrands it to their name. Like example, my company make a radiator, sell it to Toyota. Toyota rebrands it as theirs. Okay, interesting. Gotcha. Speaking of Toyota, that's actually right near where I lived when I lived there. I lived in Nagoya, which is right around the corner. I actually have been to Toyota briefly, the town, not like the company or anything. But I take it you've probably been there to Toyota, the town, and the company headquarters, which I believe is still there in Toyota town. Yeah, when I lived in Nagoya, I rode my bicycle to Toyota once, which I should have done more often. It was a really nice ride. It's like a thinking about it, I think it was like 30K, something like that, maybe. So I mean, like, it's not something that you can just do on a whim, but it's a good ride. Okay. Yes. Okay, yes, I understand. Toyota was just an example. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Sure. So let's see. We got this part's just gonna fit into here, and then step 2. This one on top. There. Okay. Step 3. This thin part. Now I think we're gonna finally use those parts that I cut off way earlier, or that were in just like the wrong spot. One more fin for today. There's going to be some more fins for later sections of the tail next time. But for now, that's going to be all of our fin parts for today. Here and here. Is that. A couple more little gold parts here. How easily could Gojulas get LEDs in the head? I think it'd be cool to put. It depends, Goose. If you want to run LEDs throughout the entire body, I mean, as you could see, like as we were doing the build, the head, and there's like this section, this section, this section. So I mean, you'd kind of, it'd be a lot of work to do it. I mean, you have the space though. I mean, there's a lot of like parts stacked on top of parts there. But I mean, it's just a matter of just drilling holes up through everything. So I mean, you could absolutely run LEDs like all the way up through the whole body, up into the head. It wouldn't be impossible by any means. I mean, it'd be a lot of work. Anytime you're doing any kind of customization at all, of any kind on a kit like this, I mean, obviously it's going to be a little bit of work, but you could do it for sure. Huh? Okay. Is that? All right, there's one tail section there, and then we got these parts here, like this. Yeah, let's see, we better put these together here first, for these little gun bits on here. Sorry, I'm late. Was asleep. Decker, you were asleep and you missed everything. Almost done for today, but that's okay. You can watch the playback if you're interested, or you can just kind of see how it's going at the moment, which I'll be able to show you in just a second here. Just working on this, kind of like the last section here for today. These guns here that go at like the base of the tail. There and there. Ouch. It's very like pointy part there. Ah, interesting. Very interesting, very nicely detailed, these parts. Pretty cool. like while I was preparing the parts, or I mean, I guess just like looking at the kit, these aren't exactly something, because they're at like the back, like base of the tail. They're not gonna really look like anything too impressive, but I mean, they do look pretty cool in isolation, just like that. Another little detail there that I pen aligned that ultimately did not need to be pen aligned because it got covered up. That's good to see. Just a small little bit there. All right. I'm gonna add these onto where? Looking at this backwards. There we go. Here. Got a couple more of these classic Zoids. I don't know what I typically refer to these as, Zoids joint caps or whatever. Anyway, these like little bits that are normally red on a lot of the designs, but in this case they're black. What are the? Is there like a better, more official name for those, other than like Zoids joint caps? I'm not sure. You guys can let me know. So that's it for that last section. I'm just kind of checking how this construction's gonna go. I think I can go ahead and just put that on here. Kind of double checking the manual real quick. So the tail, we're gonna actually connect earlier. The next section will be interesting because like the next live stream, because for building the tail, it's just a lot of repetition. You just like build one section, then you build another section, which is like identical but slightly smaller, and then you build the next section, which is identical but slightly smaller, and so on and so forth. But there is our build so far. Wow. And what a build it is. What do you guys think? I'm gonna wrap it up for today. Got some other painting to go and work on. So thank you guys for hanging out. This build versus the previous Iron Kong, which is more complicated. I'm finding this one more enjoyable for some reason. I think it's just because I like this design more than the Iron Kong. I also am really liking how this is looking, just because I repainted some of the parts. I did already go ahead and do the panel lining ahead of time. So I mean, it's more satisfying because like as soon as I'm building it, it already looks really good. Whereas like the Kong, you know, it was just snap build straight out of the box. I didn't do anything else extra to it. So I mean, it wasn't as impressive looking right off the bat as this one is. As far as complicated, I mean, they're going to be pretty much the same though. I mean, because they're very similar in terms of all of the Zoids HMM kits that I've ever built. I mean, are all pretty comparable in terms of how complex they are, which is very complex. I would put kind of at a very similar complexity level to like a perfect grade, sort of. So, yeah. All right, guys, that puts us at, my guess earlier, 2.5 hours. We're actually 2 hours, 20 minutes right now. Ready to wrap it up for today. That's it for part 1. Part 2, we're going to finish up the tail. We're going to build the legs. And then in part 3, we'll do the arms and then the backpack stuff, the cannons and everything. So pretty cool so far. Very, very cool. Again, thank you to Kotobukiya for sending this for me to enjoy. I am enjoying it. It does look really good so far, I got to say. And looking forward to finishing it up. So I'll let you guys know when the next live stream is going to be. Probably not till like around the end of the month, because like I said, this Saturday I'm headed off for vacation for 2 weeks. But after I get back from vacation, we'll finish up the rest of this kit. Yep. All right, guys. So, and yeah, just another reminder, probably won't be any other live builds or any other live streams, I think probably for the rest of this week. So again, won't be any other live streams then until later on in the month. But Friday, Thursday, look forward to an update, an announcement about the next contest on Friday. I'll see you guys then. Oh, what am I talking about? Thursday, the contest will be announced. See you then. Goodbye.